Welcome to the making of Polish kapusta. Major ingredients are cabbage, and what you want to do is slice the cabbage and then chop it all up so it looks like this in your bowl. You also need a half a cup of yellow dried peas, and cooking on the stove we also have some pork strips and also dried mushrooms. And what you want to do is buy a bag of, these are porcini. Just put them in water. Make sure you have a lot of water because they soak up the water pretty good. Get those nice and soft, and you want to get a lot of broth from that, as well as broth from the pork. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish chopping up the rest of this cabbage, which I'll add to the big pot, and I'll come back in a few minutes and show you what else to do. All right, so I have my 2 small heads of cabbage all chopped up, put in a pretty good sized pot. Another key ingredient is sauerkraut. I use Dietz & Watson, but you can use any kind. And you're gonna slowly, once you start cooking the cabbage on the stove, you're gonna slowly add the sauerkraut to it. And depending on how sour you'd like it to be, that's how much sauerkraut you add. So if you like a little more sour, you could add the whole thing. If not, you use half or 3/4. What I'm gonna first do is add some water to this just to get it going. And I'm gonna put it on the stove and let it cook down for a minute. So that'll take a while to cook down. And in the back I also have my dried mushrooms, and I use 2 packages of dried mushrooms. You just add water and let them soften up in there. You want to save your juice from this. Once you take these mushrooms out and chop them up, save the juice. And in this small pot I also have some water, which I'm going to be putting my dried peas in to soften them up, and that's about a half a cup. And in this other one I also have my pork, which is cooking slowly, and I also want to save the juice from that pork, which I will dice these up and add to the cabbage mixture in a few minutes. So I'll come back to you in a little bit once this cooks down and show you the rest. All right, so as you can see, I have everything cooking, and the pork I just chopped up into that size chunk, and also the mushrooms, I just got done chopping those. So those are going to be put right into the pot with the cabbage. Right now I'm going to add some of this pork, the juice that I saved from the pork, and you're going to put that in the pot. You don't put all of it in, just a little to give it some juice, and you can add more later if needed. And I also have the mushroom juice that I'm saving, and my peas are softening as we speak. So right now I'm going to come back and I'm going to add these things to the pot plus the sauerkraut, and I'll come back and show you that when I'm done. Okay, as you can see, I have added my pork and my mushrooms and my sauerkraut to the mixture, and I'm just mixing it. I'm going to constantly mix it. One key ingredient that you cannot forget is pepper, and you want to really put a lot of pepper to it. So as you can see, I've added quite a bit there. I'm just going to keep mixing. Every time I mix, I'm going to add more pepper. The pepper really adds to the taste. And also what I'm going to do is use my leftover mushroom juice, and I'm going to add some of that. That's really going to darken it up. It'll turn the cabbage a little darker as we mix. So I'll come back in a few. I need to still add my peas, which are softening. Okay, so the finished product with everything mixed together. There is 2 small cabbages or 1 large cabbage chopped finely. I used 32 ounces of sauerkraut and the juice from the sauerkraut, 2 packages of dried porcini mushrooms. You can use Polish mushrooms if you know somebody that picks them in the woods. 1 package of country style pork, cut into chunks and added into this, and half a cup of dried yellow peas, and then plenty of salt and pepper to taste. Every time I mix, I just keep adding the pepper. Just keep mixing it, let it cook down, and it's good to go. Delicious.